All right. What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is
Yes, sir.
Nonpfixion. This is my co-host Zach. This is Real Fan Sports, and this time we're talking about divisional weekend. We're that much closer to the big game. So,
hmm
what are your thoughts so far, Zach?
I think it's kind of what we expected, man. I really am disappointed in those dang Vikings, though. I really am. I thought they were gonna win it. I guess I was wrong, but it's been good games, man. That Jaguars game was absolutely insane. I can't believe they made that big comeback.
I know,
But they're
right?
gonna have the toughest matchup in the week, I think, being Saturday at 3:30 between the Chiefs and them. What's your thoughts on that game, huh?
Being that's going to be the first game of the weekend at 3:30. Also taking place in Arrowhead Stadium. You know what? It will. I think it will be the toughest matchup for them this entire season, pretty much. But at the same
Oh,
time,
without a doubt.
there's one thing that I actually like about Trevor Lawrence. I'm still going with Trevor Lawrence in his run. Trevor Lawrence is undefeated on Saturdays, so he is 37-0 on Saturdays. In college,
So you're going
pros,
with the like
in high
massive
school.
underdog. Is what you're telling me. You're
Oh
you're
yeah, I
telling
got
me
to.
that you
I
got
got to.
Trevor Lawrence. You got to.
I
You're
got
sticking
to.
with it.
I
Okay, look, to
I
be
rode with
honest,
him
I mean,
already.
to be honest with you, I don't think there's a shot in hell. But you know what? I'm not mad at it either because I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it. Um, yeah, Chiefs are gonna win this game. Chiefs they're just set. It's at Arrowhead. I think this is the best we've seen Patrick Mahomes since he's gotten into the league. I think we've seen him take strides as a quarterback without having Tyreek Hill kind of as a scapegoat. Obviously he still uses Kelsey a bunch, but he's getting the ball out to Juju, out there to Valdez Scantling, out there to the new guy that they just got from the Giants a couple weeks back. And I think he looks like a better quarterback right now than what he's ever had. And I got the Chiefs winning this one easily.
It definitely does look like a better quarterback. I just know that one thing we haven't had in a long time um, that the league has been missing is we haven't had a real underdog story in a very long time. And
Yeah.
what's wrong with having one now?
Well,
You know,
you know what? Look, like I said, I'm not mad. I just don't believe it, but I'm not mad. Um, and then after that game, we're gonna have 7:15 Giants versus Eagles at Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia. Giants, also kind of pulled that little surprise win. A surprise to me. You had
mm-hmm.
them, but when I watched that game, all I could think about was how good Daniel Jones looked. He was the best player in the wild card weekend of football. He played
Yeah,
outstanding. Everything
yeah,
he wanted, he got. And the craziest thing about that game is that they didn't even really use Saquon that much. It was a lot on him. He ran for nearly 100 yards. He threw for
mm-hmm.
300 yards. It was a great, great game. Now they're going up against the Philadelphia Eagles, a team that has been great all year, only with 3 losses. What's your thoughts on this game?
Now, Philadelphia fans, we've seen them come into the many streams, and they talk, and they are very abrasive at times. But we love them like we love all the rest. But I will say this: I think Philly's going to win this, but I don't think it's going to be a cakewalk for them. I don't think it's going to be a cakewalk at all. Like you said,
Mm,
with Danny Dimes, the way he looked in the last game last weekend, he looked very, very comfortable in his position. He looked at home. He looked at peace. He looked like he could
yeah.
take on anybody. And so, with that being said, I think that as much as we talked about Philly having a easy schedule or whatnot,
Right, right.
it's the NFL. Nothing's really easy because the NFL, everybody's
Yeah.
top quality competition. But I do think this is going to be. I think it's going to be. It might possibly be down to the wire, to be honest with this game.
Yeah, I kind of see it that way too. You know, the only thing is if the Giants can replicate what they did this past weekend.
Yes.
That's going to be the hardest task because we saw in the beginning of the season where they came out and started off really hot.
Mm-hmm.
But that kind of fizzled away. The light shines on the horse's ass, once. Can it shine twice? That's what we don't know, and that's what we're gonna see on this game. Jalen Hurts is gonna be his first true attempt here in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
He's looking healthy. Hopefully, he's actually fully healthy going into this game. And I think this is really the time for the Eagles to shine. I think, regardless of how easy their schedule was, after watching more and more games of them, I was really impressed.
Oh yeah, I was
So
too.
I,
Yeah.
I have I think Eagles win, but I could see it being close as well, and I hope so. Let's continue with that trend because these games this past week were amazing, except for two.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm down with it. Let's keep it close.
I totally agree. I totally agree.
So that'll bring us into Sunday's games. We have the Cincinnati Bengals and the Buffalo Bills, and this one is interesting to me because there's arguments all over, and I can't disagree with some of the arguments that they don't really even deserve to be here in this divisional round. They both played against teams that are running off their backup quarterbacks, some of them the backup quarterback, and they allowed the games to be close. The Bengals, even though they went against the Ravens, we understand the Ravens have one of those top defenses in the league, and their defense is the only reason why they've been in the playoffs in the first place, because the last 4 weeks they've been playing
Mm-hmm.
outstanding. But the fact that Joe Burrow really never got anything going, he was only taking a couple dink and dunk passes to get upfield. They were able to stretch, barely pull out a win with Huntley not playing, the greatest.
Yeah.
And then Bills is kind of the same story. Like there was a point where I thought they were going to lose this game, and I was in disbelief. They were playing down to their competition, and Skyler threw like 40%. Like it's you can't allow things to happen like that, and feel comfortable going into next week. So now we're going to see: are we going to get the best out of both of these teams, and who's going to win it is the question. What's your thoughts?
This may also be a nail biter, to be honest, because quarterback wise, their stats are virtually the same. Same amount
Mhm.
of touchdowns, just about same amount of interceptions. Yardage, they're only apart by 200 yards. Both of their running backs all actually are 5 yards apart as far as what they ran for the season. I mean, they both and the receivers. The only thing different is Stephon Diggs got 400 more yards than Chase, which
And that's
understandable
because
is
Chase was
Diggs.
hurt.
Yeah, it's Diggs. So these teams are very, very similar. They're
Definitely.
very similar. Um, and I agree with you 100%. The past weekend, both teams struggled where they shouldn't have struggled. And
Mhm.
if it's an idea of they're playing down to their opponent, that's just not a great. I mean, it's a poor excuse. One, it's a poor
Yeah.
excuse
Oh
because
yeah. Yeah.
these
Without a doubt. Without a
those two
doubt.
teams should have destroyed those backup quarterbacks. And I know we had a few Bills fans that are coming to our channel that say, "Oh, they're playing down. They're gonna play better." We've heard that before, and they didn't play that great the following weekend. I mean,
Mm.
I'm we've talked about it, and you said the same thing. Rooting for the Bills to win it because I would love to see Bills championship. That's just what it is. They
Yeah.
deserve one. It's too many years in the making, and that's what I would like to see the Bills. The Cincinnati still young, still got time. You know what I'm saying? They still fresh off the block, just
Mhm.
fresh out of college. They got plenty of time, but this one I think is going to be a no by too. And it just feels like it. It feels like it's
Yeah.
building to be that point because both teams are virtually the same statistically.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. The way I look at it is I want to see Josh Allen take over a little bit more. And I'm not just meaning like with his arm and taking deep shots. In the first
Yeah.
half of that game, we saw Diggs get 113 yards. He only got 3 more yards the rest of the game. That was
Mm-hmm.
something that was really surprising to me. But also, I want to see Josh Allen take over on his feet as well. I want to see him go out there and win games and be that guy because I think that's where he really earned a lot of his respect in the league was the fact that if something wasn't open or wasn't what he liked, he'll go make it on his feet. He's a big man. He'll go run
Oh
down
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
try and lay out some bodies. He's not scared of it. I want to see him do that. As far as the Bengals go, it's that O line. They looked a lot better at the end of the season, and then you go and play against the Ravens. You allow 4 sacks, and really it should have been more. So
Yeah.
that O line is the X factor for the Bengals. I'm gonna rock with Bills. This has kind of been my prediction at the beginning of the season. I'm gonna stay true to it, and I'm gonna have Bills
Mm-hmm.
win this game. But I think it's gonna be close, and it's also gonna be the rematch of the game that we never got just a couple weeks ago. Whenever we Damar Hamlin
Very
suffered
true.
with his injury. So this is also going to be an emotional game, and I'm expecting to be some really really fun football, and I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah, I mean, as far as like Hamlin, the McDermott did a report that Hamlin has been in the training facility almost daily, so that's a big plus. So that's one less thing that they have to really stress about. I do think that the Bills had a bunch of highs and lows really quick in a short amount of time. So I think
Hmm.
emotionally that can have drained them and caused them to play not as good this past weekend. It's a possibility.
Definitely,
I
that's
mean,
definitely a good
um,
point.
but as far as the Bengals, there's no excuse really. I mean, even though they're part of it, but the part of that affected the most was Bills players. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
it's I think the Bills are going to win it. This might end up being an ugly game too, as far as they're both of them how they had both of their games this past weekend. To be honest,
Yeah. Well, we'll see. And then that'll bring us into our last game, Cowboys versus 49ers. Cowboys and 49ers were both our big winners of the week. They led out to blowout wins, 49ers over
mm-hmm.
Seattle, where they took off and were able to expand that lead beyond, a comeback in the second half. And then the Dallas Cowboys, which they've just never lost it. It
Yes,
felt like
yes.
for a while, every single drive, they were scoring touchdowns. They might not have been making PATs, but they were scoring touchdowns. First question before we get into who we think is going to win. Have the Cowboys sign a new kicker? Like, are we going to see a new person at the realm for
So
those?
for what I did see online earlier, the Cowboys they're still going to go into the next game with Maher as a starting kicker, but they did sign a kicker to the practice squad from what I saw.
Okay.
So it is that's what it is right now.
Got it. All right. So just looking at this game, I think 49ers are the most complete team. Said it once, said it twice. I'll keep saying it until they get knocked out. But I don't see that being this week. I think Cowboys had a great game and they looked phenomenal. When they also had a really great game and they looked phenomenal was against Minnesota. And
Mm,
then the next game, they looked horrible.
yes, you're right.
And I kind of feel like this is going to be a similar thing where the 49ers are just going to beat them with class. Like they're going to make the game hard for the Cowboys and the 49ers is going to feel easy. And that's my thoughts. The only way that I think the Cowboys have a big chance is if Michael Parsons, who did have a slight injury last week, is able to disrupt Purdy. But no one's really gotten to Purdy yet this season. That's why he's been undefeated because
Mm-hmm.
that line is so good. If they aren't able to disrupt him, they don't have a chance. And that's just being blunt.
Yeah, I mean the way the Niners have kept that dude clean and have allowed him to play his game within their blueprint. I commend them. I commend them for they being able to plug and play almost any quarterback that they put back there, and
Mm-hmm.
they look good doing it. Now, I mean, I know last week I picked Tampa Bay, but that's because I wasn't sure about Dak. Dak this past
Right.
weekend looked like an actual quarterback. He looked like somebody that belonged in the playoffs. At the same time, just like you said, they've had some great highs, and then the next weekend is plummeted like stock market did.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, even though the fans of Dallas was chanting we want Niners after the game, and even a fan even FaceTime Debo after the game, I'm
I
going with
did
the
see that.
Niners. I'm going with the Niners. I think the Niners will win this handily. It won't be super easy, but it won't be like it won't look like they struggled too much. I'll say
Yeah.
that. I think their defense. I think the Niners defense is going to do a hell of a job on Dallas's offense. To be honest with you,
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's going to be a fun game. I do have Niners win. I really don't think this is going to be a blowout, though. I think it's going to be
yeah,
a
I don't think
close
it's going
one
to be a
again.
blowout.
But I do think the 49ers win this one. And I'm just expecting another great weekend of NFL playoffs. Last weekend was so
Yeah,
much fun. We went live throughout just about every single game except for the 49ers game. We had so much fun. We had a great time talking, chit-chatting, meeting new
hmm
people. And, I hope to be able to continue that, bringing y'all some of the best sports radio, talk show, live preview, whatever you want to call it, play by play that you can find on YouTube. And we hope to see plenty of you guys that are new or old come stop by, have some fun with us this weekend.
So, like he said, on Saturday, January 21st, we will be live right here on the channel right before 3:30 for the first game, Jacksonville and Kansas City. Then we'll probably take a short, very, very, very short break.
Hopefully, if the game doesn't go
Hopefully we
4
get a
hours
break.
again.
And we get and before we head on to New York and Philly, and then of course the same thing for Sunday the 22nd, starting off with Cincinnati and Buffalo at 2 p.m. on CBS, and then eventually getting over to Dallas and San Francisco on Fox. But with that being said, thank you for checking out the channel. Hope you liked the video. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up, and if you like the channel, if you really really like the channel and you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and give it a subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Join the family, become a fanlist, join the crew, and then come through on one of those games. If you want, if one of your if one of these teams, if each one of these games is your team, come through, say hello, but also talk your trash in the game in the
Rep your
chat.
squad.
So
rep
your squad. We need more. We need more fans of Dallas. Come through, Dallas fans. Come through, Cincy fans. We got some Buffalo. We actually got a Niner in there. We got some Philly fans. We even got some Kansas City fans. But we need some other fans from the other squads. Come through.
And don't be lighthearted. We're gonna all talk our mess, but we're all gonna have fun respectfully doing it, man. It's gonna be a great time. It ain't sports without a little trash talk.
But yeah, come through, rep your squad, man. And once again, appreciate you, love you guys. Thank you for checking out the video, and thank you for pressing play. My name is Nonpfixion. It's my co-host Zach. This is Real Fan Sports, and we were your fanalists for this evening. Appreciate you, love you. Catch you on the next one, y'all. Peace out.